When you hear the name the Bhagavad Gita, it's easy to picture this super dense, ancient book, right? Something for scholars in a library. But what if I told you that its most powerful wisdom comes from one single, absolutely gut-wrenching moment? A crisis on a battlefield. It's this incredible conversation that happens right before everything is about to change, and it kicks off with a question that, honestly, every single one of us is going to face. So, what do you do? What do you do when the right path, your duty, asks you to do something that feels just impossible, something that tears your own moral compass to shreds? Well, that's exactly where we find the hero of our story. Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. We're on a massive battlefield. Two gigantic armies are facing each other, ready for war. But this isn't just any war. Oh no, this is a civil war. It's a fight for a kingdom that has ripped a royal family completely in two. We're talking cousin against cousin. And right in the middle of all this is our guy Arjuna. He's not just any warrior. He's the greatest archer of his generation. And he tells his charioteer, who, by the way, just happens to be the Lord Krishna in disguise, to take him right between the two armies. And when he gets there and looks out, it's not just an anonymous enemy he sees, no. He sees faces. The faces of the people who raised him, his teachers, his mentors, the people who taught him everything he knows. It doesn't get more personal than this. And this is the moment where everything just freezes. The horns have already been blown, the armies are roaring, ready to charge, but for Arjuna, time just stops. He's suddenly thrown into this deep, deep internal crisis. And look, this isn't just him having some deep thoughts. This is a full-on physical breakdown. He's totally overwhelmed by the sheer horror of what's in front of him. The grief is so powerful, it's literally shutting his body down. And he turns to Krishna and just says it plain. I don't want to win. Just like that. He throws out the entire reason they're even there. Because, he asks, what good is a kingdom? What good is all the money in the world, or even being alive, if you have to kill the people you love to get it? And you can feel how specific his pain is. This isn't some abstract concept of the enemy. No, these are his teachers, his grandfathers, his uncles. I mean, this is the entire fabric of his life, his family, standing right over there, ready to be killed by him. So what does he do? He just gives up. He drops his legendary bow, the Gandiva, and literally collapses in his chariot. He tells Krishna, it would be better for them to kill me right here, unarmed, than for me to do this. You see, his dharma, his sacred duty as a warrior, is now in a head-on, brutal collision with his other dharma, his duty to his own family. And right here, this is where the whole conversation pivots. Krishna isn't just a charioteer anymore. He becomes the divine teacher. And his very first lesson is a total game changer, designed to flip Arjuna's entire perspective on what life, death, and even the self really are. Now, Krishna's response is just profound. He doesn't just say, toughen up, Arjuna. Not at all. He tells him he's grieving for the wrong reason. He explains that the real you, the soul, the Atman, it isn't your body. It was never born. And it can never, ever die. And he uses this amazing metaphor, probably one of the most famous from the Gita. He says the body is just like a set of clothes. And when they get old and worn out, what do? You just take them off and put on a new set. That's all death is. It's not the end, it's just a change of outfits. And then Krishna really doubles down on this. He says the soul is completely untouchable by anything physical. A sword can't cut it, fire can't burn it, water can't make it wet, and the wind can't dry it out. It's eternal, it's unchanging, it's completely indestructible. So the crucial point Krishna is making is pretty radical, right? He's not saying Arjuna's pain isn't real. He's saying the reason for the pain is based on a mistake, this deep-seated delusion that we are just these temporary physical bodies. Okay, that's a huge idea, but it doesn't really answer the immediate question, does it? Great, the soul is eternal, but what do I do right now? And this leads us to Krishna's second massive teaching, a super practical guide for living in the world called Karma Yoga. So, Krishna drops another bombshell idea on him. He basically says, look, you have a right to your work, to your actions, but you have absolutely no right to the results. Let that sink in. The idea is to do your duty, whatever it is, with 100% of your skill and focus, but to completely let go of what happens next. Whether you win or lose, succeed or fail, that's not your concern. It's a totally revolutionary way to find freedom in the action, not from it. And then Krishna explains why this is so incredibly important psychologically. He lays out this chain reaction of ruin. It all kicks off with being attached to a certain result. That attachment creates this powerful desire. And what happens when that desire gets frustrated? Boom, anger. And anger, as we all know, totally clouds your judgment. Once your reason is gone, you're pretty much on a highway to total self-destruction. So you've got these two paths, and they lead to completely different places inside your own head. Acting with attachment, that's a one-way ticket to a life on an emotional roller coaster. You're constantly stressed, anxious, worried about the result. But acting without attachment, just focusing on your duty, that's where you find real inner peace, a stability that doesn't get shaken by what's happening on the outside. And let's be super clear about this, because it's a really important point. Krishna is not telling Arjuna to be lazy or to not care about what he's doing. It's the exact opposite. He's saying, pour everything you have into your duty. Be excellent, be skillful, but at the same time, mentally let go of the outcome. That's how you free yourself from that crushing weight of expectation. So after this incredibly deep and wide-ranging conversation, they've covered the nature of reality, the self, how to act in the world, you can feel something inside Arjuna finally click into place. The fog begins to lift. And then comes the moment of truth. This is the resolution. Arjuna looks at Krishna and says, "My doubts are gone. I am firm now. I will do as you say." All that paralysis from grief and confusion, it's just vanished. He's found his clarity. Because he finally gets it. He understands that the true self can't be harmed, and that his real job is to just do his duty without being obsessed with the results. He is a changed man. He's not fighting for a kingdom anymore or out of anger. He's fighting with a calm mind and a real sense of purpose. And so, he picks up his bow. And that right there is how this ancient story becomes about us, right now. Arjuna's battlefield was, a literal one with swords and chariots, but we all have our own battlefields, don't we? Our own kurushetras, those impossible choices, those clashing duties, those moments where we are just riddled with doubt. So the timeless question the Gita leaves us with is, what's your battlefield? And on that field, what is the right thing to do? And how can you do it with purpose and clarity without being crushed by what might happen next?